So hello guys, welcome back. On my last lesson, I was talking about salts, and I introduced salts, and I said that a salt is basically a substance that is formed when hydrogen ions in an acid are wholly or partially replaced by a positive ion. And I mentioned the different types of salts. I said that we have four different types of salts. So I mentioned that we have normal salts, we have basic salts, we have acid salts, and also we have double salts. So today I'm going to discuss these different types of salts. So I'm going to start with normal salts. I'm going to start with normal salts. So, if somebody asks you what is a normal salt, so you must be in a position to answer, that question because it's a very easy question. So, what is a normal salt? So, basically, a normal salt is a salt that does not contain any replaceable hydrogen atom. So, for example, I want us to form one normal salt, which is sodium chloride. So, for example, if we want to form sodium chloride, I'm going to do it in a practical way so that you can understand how a normal salt is formed. So we are forming sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is one of the types of normal salts. So I want us to form it and see how it is formed. So sodium chloride. So it means we're going to use an acid because when we are defining a salt, we say that a salt is basically a substance that is formed when hydrogen ions in an acid are wholly or partially replaced by positive ions. So we must have an acid for us to form a salt. So we're going to start with HCl. So we're going to use HCl. We're going to use HCl to prepare sodium chloride. So HCl is an acid, and acids do have basicity. So HCl has a basicity of 1. So it has a basicity of 1. So it is a monobasic. It is a monobasic acid because it has a basicity of 1. So the first thing that you're supposed also to understand, you're supposed to understand what is basicity. So basicity is basically the ability of an acid to release one hydrogen ion when it is ionized, or the ability of an acid to release hydrogen ions when ionized. So that is very important for you to understand. So what is going to happen here? So sodium, we're going to introduce a positive ion. A positive ion is sodium. So sodium ion is a positive ion. So if we introduce it in HCl, what will happen? So since sodium is a positive ion, it will replace this one hydrogen ion in HCl. So what will be the product? So if this one replaces this one, what will happen? So we will have sodium chloride. Okay, so that is how sodium chloride is formed, and sodium chloride is a normal salt. So it doesn't have any replaceable hydrogen, hydrogen atom. Doesn't have any replaceable hydrogen atom. So we will call it a normal salt. So hope you have understood. So if you have a question, you just comment down so that I can answer you the thing. So I want us to go now to acid salts. Acid salt. So what is an acid salt? So basically, an acid salt, these are salts that contain replaceable hydrogen atoms in their structure. So for example, we have sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen. So let's see. Then we have sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. So it is formed from carbonic acid. It is formed from carbonic acid, and carbonic acid has two hydrogen atoms. two hydrogen ions, I mean. So the two hydrogen ions will, sodium will replace one. So this sodium will replace it. So it was two previously. So sodium will replace one, and then we have sodium hydrogen carbonate. So the one hydrogen that is remaining here is making this salt to be acidic. It's making the salt to be acidic. So that is why we are calling this an acid salt. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay. Yeah. So that is one of the example of acid salts. So we have another example which is potassium hydrogen sulfate. So potassium hydrogen sulfate, we have used now sulfuric 6 acid to form it. So the potassium is the positive ion that was introduced. So hence it will just replace one hydrogen ion in H2SO4, that is sulfuric 6 acid, and also have sodium dihydrogen phosphate. It's formed from phosphoric acid. So phosphoric acid has 3 hydrogen ions. So the sodium will just replace one. So that's why we have sodium dihydrogen phosphate. So di means we have 2 hydrogen atoms. So I will go to basic salts. So what are basic salts? So basic salts, these are salts that contains hydroxyl ions. So these are salts that contain OH group. So the OH group. So these are salts that contain the OH group. So it's very, very important for you to understand that. Okay? So it is the presence of the hydroxyl ions in these salts that is responsible for the basic properties. Okay, so for example, we have basic magnesium chloride. So magnesium OH into brackets and then chloride. So we must have this OH group in that structure to make it basic. So it's the presence of that the OH group that gives this salt the basic nature. We also have basic lead 2 carbonate. Basic lead 2 carbonate. So I want you to be very, very careful because this one now can be a little bit confusing. How do we write basic lead 2 carbonate? How do you write basic? How do you write basic lead 2 carbonate? How do you write basic lead 2 carbonate? So that's the question that you must ask yourself. So here we have basic lead 2 carbonate. Okay, we have a radical in this structure, which is the carbonate. So how do you define a radical? So a radical is basically a group of atoms with a net charge that exist and react as a unit. Okay, so this is a group of atoms with a net charge. So that's a radical. A group of atoms with a net charge that exist and react as a unit. So if you don't understand what is a radical here, you'll not be able to write the chemical equation of this basic lead 2 carbonate. So we have the lead will react with the OH group first. So the lead will react with the OH, so it will be PbOH, and then 2 because lead is a metal group 2. And then we have, and then it will react with now the carbonate. So CO3. So that is how we write basic lead 2 carbonate. So remember, I told you, we define a radical, and we said that a radical is a group of atoms with a net charge that exist and react as a unit. So that exist and react as a unit. So this one will react as a unit. So it will react with the lead carbonate, and then the lead will also come and react now with the OH group. So I hope you're understanding something. So I want us now to go to something else, which is another different types of salts, which are double salts. So what are double salts? So double salts, these are salts. There are two different anions or cations. For example, we have potassium aluminium sulfate. Potassium aluminium sulfate. So here we have potassium and aluminium. So these are two different anions. So we have two different anions or cations. Okay, so this was just one of the examples of double salt, which is potassium aluminium sulfate. So it has 12 photo crystallizations, because somebody can ask you how many or what is the amount of photo crystallization in potassium aluminium sulfate. So it is 12 water of crystallization. And you're also supposed to know that you're also supposed to define or be able to define water of crystallization. So what is water of crystallization? So water of crystallization is basically the fixed amount of water, incorporated within the crystal structure of a salt. So it is the fixed amount of water which is incorporated within the crystal structure of a salt. So I've just given one of the examples of a double salt. So you go and research on others. We have different, we have many examples of double salts. So on my next class, I'll be now talking about solubility of salts in water. So we have finished the different types of salts, and we have discussed them, and we have seen how they are formed. So see you on my next class.